Hello everyone, I am a little sick today, but I'm trying to be reliable for you guys. In my How to Get Fluent Within 12 Months video, I talked about some daily habits to become fluent in Korean within a year. And one of the most important ones was writing a diary in Korean. I'm sure you've seen that video, it's kind of famous now. Anyway, a lot of you messaged me asking about this whole Korean diary thing, so let me be your guide. I'll show you how I write my diary, how to deal with vocabulary that you don't know, and also how to deal with grammar that you don't know, and how to make this diary a genuinely fun part of your Korean learning journey.
I know sooner or later it will come. The day.
Before we dive in, I want to thank Preply for sponsoring this video. If you know me from Instagram and TikTok as well, you know I talk about Preply all the time because honestly, when I hit those phases of not improving my Korean at all, Preply always helps me get through that. On Preply, you can take one-on-one classes with Korean tutors. They're super experienced and super qualified, and their classes are customizable. So you can choose someone who matches your Korean level, whether you're just starting to learn how to write and read Korean or want full advanced conversation practice. And they'll create lessons based exactly on your needs and your schedule. You can, for example, also use the diary entries that we're going to talk about today in this video to show them to your Korean tutor during your class and get actual feedback on it. Use the link in my description to get a 50% discount on your very first Korean class. Thank you again, Preply, for sponsoring this video. Now let's get into it. So the first thing about the Korean diary that's very important, you handwrite it. I don't want to see any of you hold your laptop or your tablet. No, you need a pen because I assume you're not that used to writing in Korean yet. You need the practice. It's okay if your handwriting looks bad. That doesn't matter. Native speakers' handwriting also looks bad. Do you think I can read what my boyfriend writes? No, because handwriting is always messy. So don't worry about it. Step 2 is, you don't know the word you need? Look it up. I'm constantly looking up new words on Naver Dictionary. Don't use Google Translate, by the way. Google Translate is not good. Step 3, what to write. I think most of you asked me about what you're even supposed to write in your diary. I think this is the fun part. You don't really need to overthink it. However, if your language level limits you in letting the creative flow do its flows, I do have a little guide. Here's a structure that you can literally copy and paste every day. Grab a pen and paper right now and let's do it together. So the number one thing that you're going to write in your diary, when did you wake up? So number 1 is, when did you wake up? I woke up at 6 a.m. today, so I'm writing 오늘은 아침 6시에 일어났어요. The second question is, what did you do right after waking up? Did you take a shower? Did you feed your cat? Did you scratch your head? It really doesn't matter. I fed my cat, so I'm writing 고양이한테 밥 줬어요.
근데 보통 일기는 했다라고 안 써?
근데 그건 몰라 사람들이. 근데 맞긴 해. You heard him, guys. So usually, quick grammar lesson, if you attach 요 to the end of your verb, it means you are doing 존댓말 to someone. You're conjugating the verb, which means you're actually talking to someone who is not you, because this 요 expresses what hierarchy level or what relationship you have towards the person you're speaking. If you want to write your diary exactly like Korean diaries would correctly be written in, you would just write them in the da form. So instead of 오늘은 아침 6시에 일어났어요, you would write 오늘은 아침 6시에 일어났다. But it doesn't really matter if your grammar level currently is the 어요, 어서요 form, then just write it like that. That's fine. I used to write it in 반말, so 일어났어 without the 요, because I was like, I'm talking to myself, so like I 반말 myself. I'm casual like that. I'm just gonna keep it in 요. However, as I said, adapt it as you need, as you want, because this is supposed to be fun. Okay, 고양이한테 밥 줬어요. Or 밥 줬다, 밥 줬어, 밥 줬습니다. You'll learn all these endings, don't worry much about it.
밥을 줬어요 라고도 할 수 있는데 근데 처음 배울 때 조사를 너무 신경 쓸 필요 없다고. 왜냐면 한국인들도 귀찮아서 조사를 빼먹기도 하고 사실 조사 없이도 다 이해는 되니까.
Get a look at this guy, he's correcting me while I'm teaching you. Okay, I'm writing the way I speak, you know? But he's right. So like the correct way of speaking would be 고양이한테 밥을 줬다. That would be like the correct diary way. However, if you want to do it in the way you speak, it often happens that people leave out these endings like 을, 를, 이, 가, 는. So yes, of course we need to be aware of what's correct. However, you don't need to get stressed out about that. Even if you leave it out, even Koreans leave those little particles away sometimes because it feels natural when they're speaking. So the third question will be, what did you do during the day? I worked from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Now I'm sitting here. So I'm writing 8시부터 2시까지 집에서 일했어요. You can also write that you went to school, 학교에 갔어요. You met a friend, 친구를 만났어요. You cooked some food, 요리를 했어요. You can write anything you did today. Now the fourth question, to give it a bit more variety, how did you feel today? I'm tired and I'm a bit sick. So I'm gonna write 너무 피곤했어요. You can also write 너무 재밌었어요. For example, cooking was fun. You cooked and cooking was fun. 너무 재밌었어요. Or you were sad, then you can say 오늘은 슬펐어요. Anything, just any feeling you felt today. And then number 5, just one little personal detail. With personal detail, I just mean anything that wasn't covered by the previous 4 questions. So in my case, for example, I said 너무 피곤했어요, which kind of sounds like I had a bad day. So I'm going to write about something that made me feel better. Something that made me feel better is reading the comments on YouTube. So 유튜브 댓글 보다가 기분이 좋아졌어요. You can also say that you watch TV 봤어요. That you did your makeup, 화장을 했어요. It really doesn't have to be anything spectacular. And if you want to write more than just these 5 things, you can also do a little fun thing to spice it up. For example, what Koreans really love to do or ask each other about is 오늘의 TMI. You guys know TMI, right? I think Koreans use TMI a tiny bit differently than we do in the Western world. Understand TMI just the way you like. So you can write 오늘의 TMI, or you can write 오늘의 감사한 일, or like 오늘 창피했던 일, anything. So just something a little more spicy. Or like today's tea, 오늘의 tea. You can just use tea. I don't think you have to say cha. That would be kind of weird. You know, you can have fun with Korean. If you want to use Konglish, go ahead. Konglish is like Koreanizing English. So for example, I just said tea, even though that's the English word. But if you write it in Korean, tea, there you have Konglish. The goal isn't perfect Korean. It's just to use your Korean daily and to have fun. And you also get your regular diary entries through this. It's gonna be amazing for you to read your diary after a year of writing diary entries. And you're going to physically see how good your diary entries have become, like how much you've improved. Look, I would show you my past diary entries and my current diary entries, but the thing is, I talk just too many private things in my diary, so I can't really show it. One optional thing that you can do is read your diary entry out loud after you've fully written it, and then you can record it with your phone. This will help you practice your pronunciation and also mostly your confidence in speaking, because if you never open your mouth and speak the language you're learning, then you're never gonna have enough practice to build up the confidence. So it's good to start speaking even if you're alone. Speaking alone also gives you a lot of confidence, and you don't even need to listen to it again and judge it and be like, oh, I didn't pronounce this right. It doesn't matter. Don't judge yourself. Just the act of speaking makes a big difference already. Let me read out my entry first because I don't want you to feel too shy. So, 오늘은 아침 6시에 일어났어요. 고양이한테 밥을 줬어요. 8시부터 2시까지 집에서 일했어요. 너무 피곤했어요. 유튜브 댓글 보다가 기분이 좋아졌어요. See? Nothing to be shy about. Now, writing your diary is great and it's useful and it's fun and helpful and it will make you improve so much, but you also need words to work with. So you need to have a base vocabulary. In my 12 months to Korean fluency plan, I said that you should learn 5 new words every day. And people kept asking, do you have any vocabulary list recommendations? And my absolute favorite source, I'm not kidding, is the Naver dictionary. Listen, this is something that so so many people don't know about. But on Naver Dictionary, you can find vocabulary lists that were provided by Korea's National Institute for International Education, aka the people behind the TOPIK exam. The TOPIK exam is the official Korean level exam. Now, let me explain how you use it. So first you open Naver Dictionary. If you don't have Naver Dictionary, you can find it on App Store or Google Play. If you don't have an account yet, you just register yourself. It's free. And then you tap on the three dots on the right corner and you click on Korean English Word Book for Korean learners. And then you pick your level. I use Topic Beginner List 1. And here you can click any word for super detailed explanations. You can hide either the Korean or the explanation. You can hide whichever you want to hide for studying purposes. You can click the check mark to add a red check mark to all the words that you already know. You can also add notes if you have anything to add to the word, like anything that, for example, makes it easier for you to memorize it, which is such a cool function. I've never seen that before. And my favorite, there's also this quiz button here in blue. Then you click on multiple choice. And here you can quiz yourself on this topic, beginner level 1 vocabulary. Yeah, it's multiple choice. So if you don't want to see the choices, you can just cover them. You just look at the word and then you think about the translation, check if you got it right, and then click on it. Or you can just proceed with the multiple choice in the way it's made. And once you're through, you can give yourself a red check if you got the words right. Other than the quiz, there's also this play button that you can click, the one in purple right next to it. This one is a bit more detailed flashcards, also great for studying. This is amazing, guys. This is perfect. This is so good and not enough people know about this. Please explore this and study with it. This is the best vocabulary list you could ever ask for. And you cannot make detailed flashcards like this yourself. I mean, maybe if you have too much time. This is so good. Use it. So this plus your diary. Okay, we talked about the diary, we talked about vocabulary. One other thing that was pointed out in my 12 months to Korean fluency video was, where did all the grammar go? Why do I not have any dedicated daily habits for learning grammar? It was a conscious choice. I personally learn grammar on the go. I think grammar sticks the best when you just use it and you hear it a lot, you use it, you know? Let me show you exactly how I proceed with my grammar learning, because I just don't like dedicating hours of studying to just grammar and then it's not even gonna stick because you're not even really using it. So the way I do it, let's take an example from my diary. Let's say I want to write, I worked from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. but I don't know how to say from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Korean. Then I will take this full sentence in English and I will type it in papago. Papago is the Korean on-the-go translator, also by Naver. And when I type 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. it says 8시부터 2시까지. So 부터 and 까지. So that must be the grammar that I'm missing. Cool, now I look up 부터까지. So I go on Google and I type 부터까지 grammar and I scroll to one of my favorite sites, which is howtostudykorean.com. I think they have the best grammar explanations in my opinion. However, there are many good ones and everybody has a different style. So you can also read through several explanations, especially for complex grammar. Sometimes it helps reading several different explanations. Anyway, I proceed to read the explanation of 부터 and 까지. I understand it, and then I go back and I actually write the sentence in my diary with the grammar that I just looked up, 부터까지. You can do that with any type of grammar. So if you just have the ending, for example, 에서 is also an ending, 집에서 일했어요, I worked at home, you can write 에서 grammar on Google, and then it'll show you all these websites that explain that grammar, and then you have the explanation there. So this is a proactive way of studying, what I call it. You have to be really engaged in what you're writing, and that way you get a lot of learning effect. So you're looking up words that you don't know, you're looking up grammar that you don't know, and you're actually immediately using it, which makes it stick so much. And then if you also read out loud what you've written, then you also get the speaking practice. So you wrote the new grammar and the new vocabulary, and you spoke the new vocabulary and new grammar. peak. So yeah, I'm not memorizing 50 grammar rules in one sitting. I just learn by using. So my friends, writing a diary in Korean, it sounds so simple. Kind of is, but it also changes so much for you. It changed everything for me. It gave me so much practice and so much new vocabulary and grammar that I learned by using these techniques. And I can't emphasize enough that each one of you who's learning Korean or even any other language, you should write a diary. It's so helpful. Okay guys, that's it for today. I really hope that this video was useful. Comment your diary entry below. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you loved this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye!